For all of your coin buying and selling needs, head over to onestopmut.com and use code EDGY for 10% off. What's up, guys? Edgy here bringing another video, and today we are back. I was sick for a few days, guys. I'm feeling a lot better now, but I did get tested. It turns out I do have COVID, so got to quarantine longer, got to stay home, and then get retested before I can go back to work. So I'm gonna have quite a bit of downtime, but we are back on this series. But that's why I've been gone. I haven't been uploading. So today, for those of you who are new, I'm doing Madden 21 team previews and way too early record predictions. So basically, I'm going over each division. If you watch the other two videos, I already did the AFC West and the NFC West. Now I'm moving on to the North, so I'm going to be doing the AFC North in this video, and the next video will be the NFC North. So basically, I'm going over new additions to the teams, going over what I think their record's going to be, who I think is going to break out for them, young guys, or guys who maybe were good and fell off, and I think they're going to bounce back, stuff like that. But first off, I'm going to start with who I think is going to win this division. I got the Baltimore Ravens. I got them going 11-5. I don't think they're going to be quite as successful as they were last year, even though they added Calais Campbell. They still have Earl Thomas, Lamar Jackson, very good left tackle. Also, I'm doing the Madden 20. I just have the updated roster, so all these ratings aren't 100% accurate. Someone made this roster. I don't want to go on Madden 21 and do it because I don't want to get in trouble with EA for exposing the ratings and stuff like that, even though they're all on a database. I just don't want to do anything on Madden 21 to where I could get in trouble, because you still can't get into the beta. If you guys don't know about that, there's a lot of videos on YouTube. Check those out. I got the Ravens going 11-5, just simply for the fact I think their record will be a little bit worse, just because I think their division is going to be a little bit better this year. So I think they're going to drop a couple division games that last year they won. But I've got them going 11-5, and their breakout player, I have Marquise Brown. They don't really have a true number one wide receiver. He had a couple good games last year, and I think he's probably their most explosive weapon on offense besides Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Mark Andrews is a very good tight end. Also, he kind of blew up last year, but I think Marquise Brown's going to have a really good season. I think just speed alone, what he can do after the catch, I think he's going to have a big year, and they're going to be a little bit more pass heavy this year than they were last year. I think people are going to kind of figure out how to game plan and limit Lamar's running, and he's going to have to start throwing the ball more. But you're going to notice in this division, I have a lot of receivers as breakout players. I just think there's a lot of good young receivers in this division. But I'm going to move on to the next team, who I think is going to bounce back in a big way. I think this team last year, Odell was hurt, and he was playing the whole year hurt, so he didn't produce how he normally would. And a lot of people are knocking Baker Mayfield. But I think the Browns are going to bounce back. I think they're going to be a good team. I got them going 9-7. They added Austin Hooper, very good tight end. I think their offensive line is still pretty much the same, except for they drafted a tackle, which they desperately needed. They still have two good running backs. And for their breakout player, I got Baker Mayfield. I think this guy, his rookie year was incredible. His second year, he had a horrible coach. Freddie Kitchens should not have been a head coach. I think now that he has an actual head coach, I think he's going to bounce back in a big way. You can call it a sophomore slump, whatever you want to call it, but I still think he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. I think he has all the talent in the world. He can make all the throws. He's very accurate. They improved the offensive line, which was probably the biggest issue last year besides the coaching. So watch out for Baker Mayfield to have a really good season, and for the Browns to go 9-7. I'm going to move on to the next team. Alright, so the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know Steelers are always known for their defense. They're always known for being physical, just like the Ravens. They did add some good pieces in free agency. They're going to have Ben Roethlisberger back. Stephon Tuitt still there. Eric Ebron they added, which is a big-time tight end for them. They haven't had a really good tight end in a while, so probably since Heath Miller. Minkah Fitzpatrick, obviously, former Dolphin, one of the best safeties in the league, only going to get better. So the Patriots uh, I said the Patriots. I'm sorry, the Steelers. I don't know why I said the Patriots. The Steelers last year, once they got Minka, their defense, went crazy. I think they're gonna be a good team this year, but I got them going 8-8 just because of their division. I think the Ravens and the Browns are gonna have their number this year. And the Steelers are probably gonna just barely miss the playoffs. But if Ben Roethlisberger, comes back from that injury and plays well, they definitely could, flip the script and end up winning the division. Like I said, these are just really early predictions. Anything could happen. Some young players could turn into, superstar stuff like that. But this is a good team. The Steelers have a pretty good roster. Having Big Ben back is obviously going to be much better than having Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges playing quarterback for them. They still have, pretty good running game. And their biggest, their big breakout player, I have Chase Claypool. My buddy Jason, really hyped this guy up, and I watched some tape on him, and this guy, I think he's going to be really good, especially since they didn't really have crazy receivers last year. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's good, but I feel like he's a little overhyped. I know Deontay Johnson had a good year for them. James Washington was hit or miss, and Ryan Switzer, they still haven't really got the production out of him that they wanted when they traded for him. But I think Chase Claypool is going to end up starting, and I think he's produced well for them on the opposite side of Juju. And I think it'll help Juju also having another good receiver, and probably Deontay Johnson. I think he's a slot receiver, so he'll probably play there. But yeah, I think they're going to be pretty well off. I got them going 8-8, but like I said, obviously anything can happen. They definitely could get hot at the right time or something like that and end up winning the division. Or, injuries happen. If something happened with the Ravens, one of their star players got hurt, something like that. The Steelers could definitely, they have the good enough coach. They have a good roster. They definitely could make some noise. I think it just depends on how well Big Ben plays coming off the injury. All right, guys. So the final team in the AFC North, once again, I got the Bengals at the bottom of the division. I do think that they've improved since last year's team, but I don't think it's enough for them to really make a splash yet. And my biggest thing, they did add Joe Burrow, who's going to be a very good quarterback, but they didn't really give him an offensive line, and that was the problem with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, early in his career, when he had a decent line and he had his weapons, he played very well. Whenever their offensive line started falling off and he was playing with horrible offensive lines, he wasn't playing well. That's why they drafted Burrow in the first place. They should have invested in protecting him. They didn't really add anyone on the offensive line that I know of. I know Jonah Williams was hurt last year. I mean, their receivers are pretty solid. Tyler Boyd, Auden Tate, T. Higgins, AJ Green, if he could finally get healthy. They have Joe Mixon, who's a very good running back, but ultimately it's going to come down to if their line can protect Burrow. Their defense, still, they added Von Bell. They still have Jesse Bates, William Jackson. They have some good pieces, but I just don't know if they're there yet. I think they're a year or two out before, they can really compete in that division, just because the Ravens are going to be such a powerhouse. The Steelers are always unpredictable. The Browns are a young team who I think is going to get better and better. So I think it's going to be a few years before Burrow really becomes a really good quarterback. I think he's going to struggle until they give him a good offensive line. But their breakout player, like I said, a lot of receivers in this division. I have T. Higgins. They drafted him in the second round, I believe. Very good big body wide receiver, and I think he might be AJ Green's replacement if AJ Green can't stay healthy. Tyler Boyd really had a good year last year. Auden Tate was very solid in a couple games last year. They have a lot of receivers. But ultimately, AJ Green is going to be the number one if he's healthy. But the question is if he's going to be healthy, because he hasn't been healthy the past 3 years as far as I know. But yeah, Bengals, I got going 4-12. Breakout player T. Higgins, and I think they're a year or two away from really being able to compete in that division. Like I said, it's all going to come down to if they can build that line right. Because Burrow, all the talent in the world, but no matter how talented you are at the quarterback position, if you don't have a good offensive line, you're not going to succeed, especially in the NFL. But guys, that's going to close out this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please make sure to smack that like button, hit that sub button if you're new, turn notifications on. As always, everyone have a great day. I'm out.